Hi there. In this video, I'll be covering the Hellstaff from Heretic. This weapon is interesting because while it is the 5th weapon in your arsenal, it isn't the rocket launcher equivalent. That comes later. This one is more like the plasma rifle, sort of. It also has a fire mode with the Tome of Power that can be considered an alternative to the Dragonclaw's Tomed attack. It tends to complement the Dragonclaw a lot in most situations. With all that said, let's begin. This is the Hellstaff. It is one of many artifacts created by the Seraphs before they withdrew from Parthoris. This is the second projectile-based weapon you'll find on your journey. When used, you can fire a nearly continuous stream of projectiles, as long as you have ammo for it at least. Individually, the projectiles aren't all that damaging, but this weapon's power comes from its ability to be spammed endlessly. Unpowered, the Hellstaff can do between 3 to 24 damage per shot with a medium of 13. It shoots around 8.75 shots per second as well. This means you can do 24 to 192 damage per second, or a median of 108 DPS. Don't forget to factor in those extra shots to your damage after a while too. Either way, that means it's capable of doing more damage per second than the Dragonclaw. There's a few problems with it though. For one, it's a projectile weapon. All varieties of the Hellstaff's projectiles travel at 770 map units per second, as opposed to the Claw's instantaneous hit scan nature. Another problem, or perhaps a benefit if you view it that way, is that it can't fire a single projectile with one press of the fire button. It fires two, like the chain gun in Doom. One other thing to note is that the unpowered projectiles, like the side bolts of the crossbow, can be affected by wind. Depending on which direction you're facing, this can either be a blessing or a curse. Usually it tends to be the latter though. Powered up, the Hellstaff changes drastically. Like the Dragonclaw, it takes up 5 ammo per shot. It also fires slower, shooting at around 1.66 shots per second. However, this projectile does more damage. 10 to 80 damage per shot with a median of 45. It also isn't affected by wind. That isn't the only thing this projectile does though. Wherever it lands, it'll summon a rain cloud that has a 90.2 chance to summon a raindrop within a 64 map unit radius per every tick. Each individual raindrop can do 5 to 40 damage with a median of 22. Keep in mind, that's only for every individual raindrop. Look how many of these things spawn when you fire the weapon. Yeah, that's a lot, right? Anyways, the rain clouds last for around 5 seconds, so imagine how much damage this thing can do with enemies standing in them. Due to the chance per tick that it will or will not summon a raindrop, it's a bit difficult to precisely track down the amount of damage this powered up mode can do. Not to mention the radius of rain clouds, meaning some raindrops might miss. But let's just say, it's a lot. While the powered Dragonclaw is great for clearing out wide open areas with many enemies, this fire mode is perfect for clearing out closed-in areas with many enemies. One thing you can try to do is shoot the corners of a choke point and lure the enemies into the area where the raindrops are falling. The damage to ammo investment is worth it, trust me. Be warned that you can only have 2 rain clouds active at a time, and shooting a third one will destroy the older one. You can use this fire mode in tandem with other powered up weapons like the Wander crossbow to maximize your damage output if you wish. The Hellstaff, like all other weapons, has its own ammo supply. These are lesser and greater runes. When you first pick up the Hellstaff, you'll get 50 or 75 ammo depending on the difficulty, since the lowest and highest will give you 150% ammo. Each lesser rune will give you 20 or 30 ammo depending on the difficulty, while each greater rune will give you 100 or 150. Saberclaws have a chance to drop lesser runes too, which will help reimburse you when fighting them with the Hellstaff. The maximum amount of ammo you can carry with the Hellstaff is 200 or 400 if using a bag of holding. That's also the same amount of ammo you can carry with the Dragonclaw too, which is something I forgot to mention in its own video. I really hope people read the descriptions of these videos. One more thing before I begin the damage calculations. This is a magical weapon in all fire modes. It's a particularly great weapon for clearing out ghost enemies, just like the Dragonclaw. I found its specialty is to use, when powered up, to clear out Disciples of Despair, since they tend to be found in close quarters and flicker between ghostly and non-ghostly states a lot, especially on Black Plague. With that last thing out of the way, let's get right to it. The gargoyles with their 40 health will take 2 to 14 unpowered shots with a median of 8 to kill. It should most likely take around, if not under a second to kill each with this thing. Powered up, it takes 1 to 4 shots with a median of 3 to kill them with the projectile alone. Remember how high the damage output is though, so the chance of them even surviving that first shot is very low. That isn't even counting the raindrops. It can take 1 to 8 drops with a median of 5 to kill a gargoyle. This weapon is really strong against bundled up gargoyles in closed spaces. Perhaps a bit too strong? Nah. Fire gargoyles with their 80 health will take 4 to 27 unpowered shots with a median of 16 to kill. Remember how easy this weapon is to spam, and the fact that the median DPS of this weapon is high enough to kill a fire gargoyle in nearly less than a second. If it doesn't, just keep firing. Powered up, the initial projectile alone can kill a fire gargoyle in 1 to 8 hits with a median of 5. With the power of the raindrops, you can kill a fire gargoyle in 2 to 16 hits with a median of 9. This is also the case for the golems, and of course the ghost golems too, since this is a magical weapon in all cases. Just remember that their larger size makes it easier to deal damage with them. That makes the raindrops even deadlier. Nitro golems with their 100 health will go down in 5 to 34 unpowered shots with a median of 20. Powered up, the Hellstaff can kill them in 2 to 10 shots with a median of 6 with the initial projectile alone. With the raindrops alone, it takes 3 to 20 with a median of 12. You can factor in the damage from the initial projectile of how many raindrops hit your enemy. That's going to be a lot of damage either way. As was the case with the regular golems, ghostly nitro golems are also no match for this weapon either, so the Hellstaff is great against them, just like the Dragon Claw. Undead warriors with their 200 health will go down in 9 to 67 shots from the unpowered Hellstaff with a median of 38. The individual powered up projectile can kill them in 3 to 20 shots with a median of 12. The raindrops on their own can kill them in 5 to 40 drops with a median of 22. Ghostly undead warriors are also no match for this weapon either, so either type of undead warrior is very killable with this thing. Disciples of the Sparrow with their 180 health will go down in 8 to 60 unpowered shots with a median of 34. The initial powered projectile can kill them in 3 to 18 hits with a median of 11. The rain clouds are my favorite to use against these guys. It'll take 5 to 36 raindrops with a median of 21 to kill them. On a number of maps, these guys tend to be found in bundled up spaces, particularly at the end of certain maps. Destroying them with the powered up Hellstaff is oh so satisfying. Saber Claws with their 150 health will go down in 7 to 50 unpowered shots with a median of 29. The initial powered projectile can kill them in 2 to 15 shots with a median of 9. The rain clouds on their own can kill these guys in 4 to 30 raindrops with a median of 17. Fighting the Saber Claws with a Hellstaff can be a good investment, since they're the only enemy in the game to potentially drop lesser runes when killed. These runes will give you the same amount of ammo as the types you'd find regularly, which would be 20 or 30 depending on the difficulty. Either way, you might have a chance to get more ammo than you spend while killing these guys. Were-dragons with their 220 health will take 10 to 74 unpowered shots with a median of 42 to kill. With the initial power projectile alone, it takes 3 to 22 with a median of 13 to kill these big guys. With the rain clouds alone, it takes 6 to 44 raindrops with a median of 25 to put these things down. They're quite big, so the odds are they might get hit more by raindrops than some other enemies mentioned here. The Ophidians with their 280 health will go down in 12 to 94 unpowered shots with a median of 53. The initial power projectile will kill them in 4 to 28 shots with a median of 16. The rain clouds will kill these guys in 7 to 56 raindrops with a median of 32. These snakes are pretty tanky, but still no match for this weapon's high damage output and spammability. Now for the bosses. The Iron Liches with their 700 health will go down in 30 to 244 unpowered shots with a median of 137. With the initial power projectile alone, it takes 9 to 70 shots with a median of 40 to kill them. The Liches are not resistant to the rain clouds drops, so it can take 18 to 140 drops with a median of 79 to kill them. With their very big size, it makes this weapon a great choice against them, as long as you can get them into the rain clouds radius. The Molotovs with their 3000 health will need 125 to 1000 unpowered shots to put down, with a median of 563. With the initial power projectile, you need 38 to 300 shots to kill these guys. However, the Molotovs are resistant to the raindrops, 50% resistant to be exact. Instead of 5 to 40 damage, let's say about 2 to 20, rounding down. In that case, it takes 150 to 1500 raindrops with a median of 825 to kill these guys. Ouch. The Sparrow is much of the same. His Serpent will take 84 to 667 hits with a median of 376 from the Unpowered Hellstaff to kill. The initial powered projectile will need 25 to 200 shots with a median of 113 to kill him. The Rain Cloud will need 100 to 1000 raindrops to kill the Serpent due to the resistance that it also has. Ugh. The Sparrow himself has this situation too. 146 to 1167 unpowered Hellstaff shots with a median of 657 can take him down. The initial powered projectile can kill him in 44 to 350 hits with a median of 197. Due to his 50% resistance to the Hellstaff rain, it'd take 175 to 1750 raindrops with a median of 963 to kill him. Not good. Might want to stick with the unpowered version since you could spam it across the entire arena. Heck, it might hit the Sparrow a few times while he's teleporting like crazy in this phase. Using it in tandem with the hit scan weapons isn't a bad idea either. Well, aside from the last two bosses, the Hellstaff is quite good. Even with the two bosses, you can still spam them down with the unpowered version. So all in all, this is a great weapon. The only downsides in particular, aside from the raindrop resistance for the last two bosses, might be the fact that the wind might factor into some of your damage dealing with the unpowered projectiles. The fact that you can't find it in the first episode at all, and the fact that it isn't hit scan. You can debate whether or not that is better than the Dragon Claw, but I like to use them both since they complement each other so nicely. That's all I have for you guys. Feel free to let me know what your personal favorite aspect about this weapon is, or perhaps something I may have missed explaining in this video. The next video in this series will be covering the Phoenix Rod. If you liked the video, thumb it up, and if you want, you can support me with a coffee in the description. Never necessary, but always appreciated. Thanks for watching, and until next time, toodaloo.